This video is for informational purposes only and is not legal advice. Please consult a licensed attorney for guidance on your specific situation. This is an ongoing investigation and facts may continue to evolve. This is my home. This is our community. We never expect to wake up one morning and wonder if our homes, the place where we've built our lives, could be taken away. But that's exactly what's happened here in Bucerías, Nayarit. Maybe we don't always realize how much we love something until we're faced with the fear of losing it. The truth is, we're caught in something bigger than us. A legal storm rooted in corruption and fraud that goes back years. But we're not giving up. We're standing together because no matter what happens, Bucerías is still home. And we're not going anywhere. Hola amigos, it's me, Paul, and I'm right here in Bucerías, Nayarit, Mexico, where I live. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about what's going on here in Bucerías. It's pretty crazy. Basically, the state of Nayarit has showed up on Saturday, this past weekend, and they put cease orders on various communities, including the community where we live, where I live here with my family. And so this has affected over 1,200 homes. So this is a huge deal, a huge operation that they're doing. And so in this video, I wanted to give a bit of a history on what happened. I want to debunk a few popular misconceptions that I've seen on social media. And then also we're going to be sharing what we're doing to protect our home and share with you what we've heard from lawyers and from other people in our community. So are we losing our homes here in Mexico? I really hope not, because that would be pretty terrible. I don't think so, and I'm going to explain why I don't think that's going to happen in this video. So with that, let's start at the beginning and see how we ended up in this mess to begin with. Since 2022, a number of land title conflicts have emerged in Bucerías, and several developments are now caught in the middle. These include Terralta 1, 2, and 3, Los Amores 1 and 2, Plaza Los Amores, and the Quadrant luxury condos, as well as Vista Bucerías. So these aren't small neighborhoods. Combined, these developments represent more than 1,200 households. That's thousands of people, families, retirees, workers, all caught in this legal uncertainty. Terralta 1 was the first of these developments built in the early 2000s. The most recent development completed was Vista Bucerías in 2023. So what the is going on? I'll explain in just a moment, but before we go any further, let's go over a few key terms you'll hear throughout this video, just to make sure we're all on the same page. Inmueble Asegurado. This means seized property. It's a legal term used when the government places a property under review during an investigation. It doesn't mean eviction, but it does mean the property is temporarily under state control. And I'll just add here, while the homes are seized, homeowners are not allowed to do any alterations to their home, so no construction, and they're not allowed to sell their home. Megaoperativo Nuevo Nayarit. This refers to a large-scale anti-corruption campaign launched by the state of Nayarit. It targets irregular land sales, fraudulent permits, and corrupt development practices from prior administrations. And it's part of the reason why some properties are now under legal review. amparo. This is a type of legal protection you can file in Mexico. It's basically an injunction that says, you can't take further action against me until due process is complete. Many homeowners are filing one as a precaution. Fiscalía. This is the state prosecutor's office, currently leading the investigation into how some properties in Bucerías were bought and sold. FIBA, short for Fideicomiso Bahía de Banderas. This is a government trust created to manage and sell land in the Bahía de Banderas region. Much of the land in Bucerías originally passed through FIBA. The current investigation centers around whether certain developers fully paid FIBA for this land and whether any titles were granted improperly. So, moving forward, the heart of the issue comes down to who really owns the land and whether it was ever legally transferred in the first place. According to official records and recent meetings with legal experts, most of the properties were sold by a company called Dinamica. Dinamica, in turn, had acquired the land from the Bahía de Banderas Trust, known as FIBA, a public trust that was created decades ago to manage development in the region. Here's where things get complicated. The Nayarit Fiscalía, or State Prosecutor's Office, opened a formal investigation in late 2022. They allege that Dinamica never paid the full amount owed to FIBA for the land. Under Mexican law, if payment is incomplete, the seller can place a retention of title, preventing the land from being resold or altered. But for some unknown reason, this retention of title was erased, removed, or otherwise disappeared from the file, and the authorities are currently investigating the matter. It is unknown why or on what grounds the retention of title was removed. When FIBA discovered that Dinamica had resold the land without paying in full and without the retention properly recorded, they alerted prosecutors. That's what triggered the legal action we're seeing now. So while this may look like a property dispute, it's actually a criminal investigation into missing records, unpaid land transfers, and possibly fraudulent activity. On the afternoon of Saturday, July 19th, government officials and state police staged themselves in our neighborhood. The show of force was intense. At first glance, I thought they were here to catch a criminal. That's how serious and sudden the presence was. But instead, they were there to post seizure notices on gates, all under the authority of a court order tied to the 2022 investigation. It created shock and confusion for many of us residents. Some saw the signs and thought they were being evicted. But that's not what this is. These banners mean the properties have been temporarily frozen while the legal ownership dispute is resolved. This isn't just about one developer. It's part of a larger anti-corruption campaign. Governor Miguel Ángel Navarro launched the Megaoperativo Nuevo Nayarit, aimed at recovering public land that may have been misappropriated by previous administrations, especially land held by the FIBA Trust. Over 95% of FIBA's land was allegedly sold off improperly, sometimes at suspiciously low prices or with missing documentation. And it's worth noting that at least one high-ranking public official connected to those original land transfers is currently on the run from the law. An arrest warrant was issued and an international alert is in place. This shows the authorities are taking action, but also highlights just how serious this original fraud was. One important clarification we want to make: this is not an ejido land issue. We've seen people online saying the government is reclaiming the land because it's part of an ejido, which is communal agriculture land that can't be privately owned. That's simply not true in this case. The land in question has already gone through the process of being regularized and titled. It was removed from the ejido system years ago and sold as private property. Titles were issued by the state of Nayarit, deeds were recorded, and homeowners have been paying taxes, often for many years. This is not about converting ejido land. It's about uncovering how some developments were approved and sold, and whether fraud or corruption occurred during that process. So if you're hearing or seeing posts that this is ejido land being taken back, please know that's inaccurate. And we also want to be clear, this isn't a matter of buyers not doing their due diligence. Unless someone was conducting a criminal investigation at the time of purchase, there's no way they could have discovered this issue. All the paperwork, deeds, permits, notary records are legitimate. Many homes were even purchased through banks, trusts, or government-approved systems. So anyone implying that homeowners were careless or negligent, that's simply off base. And I also want to make it clear that this issue is not just affecting foreigners. In fact, the majority of homes in developments like Terralta are owned by Mexican families, working people, many with children, who have lived here for many years. This isn't about foreigners being scammed by shady realtors. This is about long-time residents, mostly Mexican, being caught in a legal mess they had nothing to do with. So let's not divide this issue by nationality. We're all neighbors and we're all affected. We've also heard people blaming real estate agents, but we want to be clear, this is not their fault. Agents sold homes with valid paperwork from legally registered developers. This problem goes deeper, and it lies with people who may have forged, omitted, or manipulated title records years ago. We've received conflicting advice from different lawyers. Some said we don't need an amparo since our specific home wasn't directly seized, and that all we need to do is register our home with the state. Other lawyers told us we absolutely should file an amparo because you never know what the government may decide, and it's better to be protected. So we decided, let's do both. The process of registration with the state is simple. We brought a simple copy of our deed, along with our ID, to an office they have set up right here in Bucerías. We gave a sworn statement explaining how we purchased the home. One question did surprise us. They asked, "Who do you want to testify against?" That caught us off guard, but what they meant was, who did you buy the home from? The way they phrased this makes me think they're tracking the sale history, from buyer to seller to developer to whoever made the original fraudulent land transfer. So be prepared to say the name of the person or company you purchased your property from. So right now is summer, so many foreign homeowners aren't in Mexico. If you're not here and need to take legal action, like registering your deed or filing an amparo, you may need to grant power of attorney, poder notarial, to someone you trust who's physically here in Mexico. For the amparo, you will also need a certified copy of your deed, your ID, and a copy of your ID, and also your presence, unless you have given power of attorney to someone else. This can usually be done through your nearest Mexican consulate in your home country. It's an extra step, but it's how some homeowners are making sure their voice is part of the process even while abroad. But the amparo must be done within 15 days. I'm not totally sure, but I think they mean 15 business days. Okay, and so to get a certified copy of your deed, you will need to go to the notary office where you signed for your home. Bring the original deed, passport, and request the certified copy. This must be done by the owner or owners if there are two people on the title. There is a fee for this, usually around 1,500 to 3,000 pesos, depending on the amount of pages and the notary. And I just want to mention that I'm going to pin any updated information in the comment section of this video. From what we've experienced so far, we recommend keeping the original copy of your deed in the home it belongs to. It's the simplest way to make sure you have quick access if you need it. Something we've also learned during this process is that you can request a second original copy, known as a segundo testimonio. If you keep your original deed, in your home country, this second version can stay right here in Mexico, and it's just as valid. And more broadly, take this time to organize all of your property-related documents, closing paperwork, permits, tax records, receipts. Never throw anything away. You never know what might be needed down the line. If you're a foreign owner and purchase your home, then you got a fideicomiso, which is a trust from the bank. Because the bank technically owns your trust, they may choose to file legal action on your behalf. Each bank may respond differently, but it's worth asking them what steps they're taking to protect their clients. So go ahead and email the bank which has your fideicomiso. So for what it's worth, I'll share my take on what I think is happening and why I'm not afraid to lose my home. The state of Nayarit is cracking down on corruption, and they're going after people who committed fraud. Not because they want to take our homes away, they want to audit the communities, look at who owns the homes, and see if they're connected to the people who did the fraud. And I would only imagine that if they are connected, the state will seize their homes. When the state finishes their audit and their investigation, our homes will be regularized and we will never have to worry about this again. In addition, just imagine what it would look like if the government stole the homes of law-abiding, tax-paying citizens, or even if they were to take a foreigner's home. Nobody would have confidence in our government. The real estate market would be dead overnight. There's way too much legitimate money on the line to take innocent people's homes. But only time will tell if I'm right. So what does it mean for our community? Well, I think for a lot of people, this whole situation feels like it could hurt trust in the idea of buying property in Mexico. I mean, you buy your home, you have your paperwork in order, and then one day there's a banner on your gate saying the government has seized the neighborhood. That's not good. But interestingly, the governor of Nayarit, Miguel Angel Navarro, sees it differently. He's actually said that the process, as tough as it is, should build confidence, not destroy it. Because according to him, this is about cleaning up the mess left behind by corrupt officials and shady developers from previous administrations. He said publicly that Nayarit guarantees legal certainty and comprehensive security for investment. In other words, the state wants to make sure that buyers, especially good faith buyers like most of us, are protected going forward, that the land is clean, that the paperwork is legit, and that the people who did wrong are held accountable. It's not perfect, and nobody signed up for this, but if this is what it takes to make sure something like this doesn't happen again, then maybe something good can come out of it. So personally, I don't think we have anything to worry about because none of our homes here are tied up with any fraud or scams. Now, that said, we're still going to follow through and get the amparo, which is going to help protect us just in case. This is a tough situation, but remember, this too shall pass. We love where we live. This is our home, and we're not going anywhere. This process may take time, and yes, it's messy, but we're hopeful. On a positive note, we've seen our community come together. We've seen neighbors helping neighbors. People are working together to get through this. And just so you know, we're not just talking about this. Between our own family and close friends, we're helping with 5 different homes. So as we learn more, we'll continue to share updates. So please share this video with neighbors, guests, or anyone feeling uncertain. Again, we're just sharing our experience and what we've learned so far. This is not legal advice, so please talk to a qualified lawyer to understand your specific situation. Now, I want to hear from you. What questions do you still have about what's happening in Bucerías or how to protect your property? We'll try to answer those questions in an upcoming video. Nobody signed up for this, and unfortunately, many of us are caught in the middle of a legal mess we didn't create. But we believe this will eventually be cleared up, and life will go on as usual in this great town we all get the privilege of calling home. Thanks for watching today's video. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. De mi familia a la tuya, Dios te bendiga.